All right, we're back and talk some double IIHF. I can never get it right.
You can't say it.
No, I can't. I really can't.
So every year we have the annual spring tournament. It's this year going to be held in Prague.
Prague.
It's going to be starting on May 1st, and it's going to run through May 17th. So we got a few teams here. We got Canada, Latvia, USA, Finland, Czech Republic, Sweden, Russia, and Norway.
8 teams?
All teams. What's that? No. There are more. Actually, teams. There's in total. There is. I just looked at it. I just went over a few, but there are 20 teams.
20 teams?
Yeah.
Separated in 2 groups?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a huge tournament. So is it 20 teams in the end? Yeah. So.
May 1st, so that's why teams that get beaten out of the first round of the playoffs, those players can make it. But if you're in the NHL playoffs after first round, you're pretty much not going to go.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, I guess. It's pretty much in the beginning.
Okay, I gotta admit, I've always thought this is the most boring tournament of all things going on in hockey.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, it's the Stanley Cup for European hockey.
No, it's not. The best European players are playing in North America in the NHL.
No. But winning this is comparable to winning like the Stanley Cup for Europe. Like, for example, a lot of very devout hockey fans, let's say, they travel to this tournament. It's like a annual thing. They go to this. I mean, it's just it's an annual event for a lot of guys, a lot of groups. It's well supported in Europe, and that's why it's always in Europe. They had it in Halifax. I have a puck here actually from that. I didn't see it. I don't remember.
Really? Did you catch it in the stands?
You know what? I have no idea where it comes from. Meaning I don't remember. I don't remember how I got this puck. But anyways,
stole it out of the clutched hands of a young boy.
Oh, this is the juniors. This is juniors. Sorry. So I don't actually know.
Is that one also stolen from a clutched hand of a young boy?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And anyway, so basically, like the hot topic in Canada. I mean, like I said, it's very well supported in Europe. And I don't see it dying anytime soon. But that's not what I really want to talk about. What I want to talk about is, Canadian players. What's the benefit of them going there? Now, like a lot of guys, it's definitely to get experience, up their game, their value in the international play, as well as play for your country and that whole hoopla of like it's
like Ryan Smith. Captain Canada, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Played for Edmonton.
So,
he was like a real leader. Played at the World Championships every year because he played for Edmonton. So he had no playoffs to look forward to ever. And
so old days, I get it, and they still got now I think people still play for their country, but now it seems like the Olympics have really taken that, and like so I like a logical person would be like, we're gonna play I'm gonna play in the World Championships this year, and every year running up to the Olympics in hopes that I prove my international play is good enough to be in the Olympics. However, the Olympic team is really based on your NHL play. We all know that, with the exception of Rick Nash last team. But why they were chosen? They were chosen because of the season they were having, and there was no secret. I mean, PK, what? So
are you saying that they lead players on? To buy.
No, I don't think they're leading players on. No. So I'm not saying that. I'm just my sort of thing. The topic of discussion is what is the motivation for these players to go? I mean, like I was talking about earlier. Justin Eberle was kind of caught off guard and asked if he was going, and he kind of shrugged it off like and like but kind of like whatever, like right, or because he hasn't gone yet, and he's been in the position to go, and so I think some players maybe they just need the time, they want to take the time off because they now have very hard training routines during the summer. So they want to spend time, they want to get on the course, they got other things to do.
But come on, Yeah, I guess, but
They got
still,
other things to do.
Eberle's a young guy playing for Edmonton. He's never seen the playoffs, right?
Yeah,
Like, I'm sure his training regimen is hard, but
it's gonna get.
I think the
get
training
harder.
regimen of any Edmonton Oiler is probably not as difficult as most other teams.
No, but what I'm saying
Judging
is,
by how well they play.
it better get. I think it might get want to get. He
Yeah,
might want to dedicate more time to. His
Maybe he
team
could use the experience
You
of
know,
a team that
to
might
get
have
the
a
heck
chance
out
of
of there.
winning.
You know. Yeah. Because if he wants any, if he wants to sign a contract anywhere else, he better start, progressing. And I think he's progressing. But anyway. So long story short. So basically, long story short of what my topic is that like why should anybody go? I mean, it's almost becoming like the Spangler Cup in a way. Like nobody goes to that, and that's because I guess it's during the season and they can't go. But
the Spangler Cup's for Canadians who are playing in professional leagues in Europe.
Right, yeah.
And they congregate, they
but
form
nobody
Team
watches
Canada.
it, right? That's what I'm saying. Nobody watches the Spangler Cup.
I've tried.
This goes on during the
tried
This
playoffs.
so
one
many
is like
times.
the worst timing
Yeah,
ever.
it goes on during the playoffs. I mean,
But you said it was really popular in Europe.
huge in Europe.
It's
yeah.
bigger than I thought. The tournament that would take the crown would be the KHL's tournament.
Well, I mean, that's
Do they have a champion? Well,
Yeah,
of course they do.
their playoffs will end soon.
Well, the best players from the KHL are going to be playing
Yeah,
for Russia
exactly.
in that tournament.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? The KHL.
Okay, because
It's like
the
an
timing
all-star
is
team.
right.
The KHL, ends so the players can go to the World Cup because it's if you win the World Cup, if Russia wins, it's huge.
How come they didn't think of that when they planned that tournament? How come they were like, NHL, it doesn't matter. Was it
I
planned
don't think,
before?
I think the NHL was more like
Yeah.
yeah,
But maybe.
for sure.
Well, anyway, the NHL at the Olympic is also running towards the end. I think there's only one or two left in the deal that was
There is no
made.
deal.
There's
There
a
is
deal
no
like 10 years ago when they were allowed, and I think it's coming to an end. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, but the NHL can they could say tomorrow we're not going to South Korea next Olympics. There's no
Yeah, I think it's all a classic Bettman bargaining session every time.
Well, I think the NHL used the Olympics, the Olympics used the IIHF, whatever. Like they used each other to, better their visibility and
the
stuff.
brand name.
So
Yeah.
if the NHL decides not to go, I mean, hey, that's their decision. It's a business decision, whatever. We in the end, us being the fans, are the ones that lose. But yeah. So, anyways, do I think? What do you guys? I mean, based on what I've been saying, what do you guys think? Do you think that you're a top line player? You're not in the playoffs this year. It's been a rough year. Like every year is pretty rough. 82 games, and you made it through injury free, or even you have a little injury. Do you?
If you're young, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand the old guys going. That makes no sense to me. Unless they're just, they're having a fun time.
Yeah,
Bring the family
yeah.
to Europe.
Probably.
And
Yeah.
hang
They
out
like
in
playing
Prague.
hockey.
Prague's,
Yeah.
I think, the greatest city in the world. Like,
Yeah.
the most beautiful.
Mm.
Why not? Yeah, I'll go to Prague. I'll hang out with some other players I haven't met before.
Yeah.
Why not? Like
Mentor
everyone
some
in all
kid.
walks of life go out. We all go off to conferences or whatever it is in our little domain, and why not? If I'm a hockey player, I'll go there, have some fun.
Fair enough.
But-
yeah, okay.
I mean, it's not like Canadians are going to be watching it. There might be, I guess, Team Canada management are going to be watching you to some degree, but it doesn't mean anything.
Well, we'll watch whatever report they have on TSN or RDS, but I'm not going to tune in. And I'm a big fan of things like that. So I don't know if I represent a lot of people, but
You represent North Americans.
I do. Well, I didn't want that responsibility, but anyway, I don't care about that. I don't care about that tournament. If maybe they moved it to July, then I'd be
No,
super
I
happy.
don't
What
want
about
to.
September?
I think it's at the perfect time. I don't want to care about the tournament. I want to care about once every 4 years. Just like all made big sports, soccer. You don't have the World Cup every year.
Right. So that brings us to.
Oh, it's every year.
That brings us. No, yeah, it's every year. Yeah. This happens just like the women's tournament every year. Yeah, it's a big thing. So okay. So anyways, I think like that we're just kind of led into is that's what the NHL is now bringing back. So the NHL, Gary Bettman has announced that in 2016 the World Cup of Hockey is going to be played in Toronto.
Oh yeah.
And there's going to be an interesting format because one of the teams is going to be made up of players that are under the age of 23, I believe. I don't know. I don't know. It's under 23. It's a Young Stars team, and they're going to compete against. They're going to be a world team. Canada's going to have a team, of course. U.S., Czech. I want to say Slovak, Sweden, and Finland.
And then the rest of the countries are going to be put
Russian,
together.
Sorry, no, not Slovak. Czech, Russia, Finland, Sweden, U.S., Canada, and what? Sorry.
And the rest of the other teams, they're just going to take their top players and form a European team?
That hasn't been announced yet. And it seems like they're kind of plugging it. This is kind of carrying on from the Canada Cup to the World Cup. Now this, no. I did. They did mention something about a European team, and they did mention something about a Young Stars team, but they're not following up on their.
I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah.
It's an out of the box idea. I think it'd be crazy for the NHL to come up with such an idea.
How about a mix?
I mean, I respect them for it. I just would never expect the NHL to come up with something like that.
Well,
Which makes me think that the NHL is not actually like it's not the brain trust of the NHL running this thing, which is good.
Yeah. So this is it. This is coming here, and
all right. So we're in 2015. When is it scheduled for?
September of 2016.
Oh, next year, right away.
It'll be before training camp opens. So they're doing this, and the KHL, they're not on board as of yet.
Of course, they might not exist either by that time.
No.
This is true, but they're not on board. So right now they can't really plan anything like that. And interestingly enough, there's only like 27 Russians in the NHL, which I was really like.
Only?
Yeah, I was kind of
surprised.
surprised.
Yeah, it's why teams are so against drafting Russians, because by and large, they just don't come over here.
Yeah. So if the KHL doesn't exist, then this is it's a go.
So what about the Swedish Elite League and the Finland Interliga? Like, there's all sorts of other leagues in Europe. Are they all going to let their players go?
I don't know. I think I'm pretty sure that a lot of these leagues are. There hasn't been any news about that, and usually those teams are kind of. So the leagues are usually in, and if there was anything, it would have been announced.
So we're pretty much just witnessing a little backroom scuffle between the NHL people and the International Hockey Federation people.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of that. Yeah, I think, but also I think the KHL is kind of they're probably seizing the opportunity, to kind of be like, oh well, what can we get out of this, So, that really makes sense, right? They
increase their revenue or whatever way.
Yeah,
make some profit, which would definitely make sense.
Yeah,
and it's fair. In part because the reason the NHL wants to do this is that the Olympics happen, but the NHL takes all sorts of risk. Their players are going over there, they're playing a lot of games in a short time, they're getting injured, and then they come back and they're of no use to their team that's paying $8 million, say, to have them on the ice. So the NHL wants to take over this to capitalize, to make money. And it would make sense that the KHL and all the other leagues want to make some money off it too. Which
Especially
the IIHF will not do. It's just this international organization.
Yeah.
And a questionable one as far as how it's run. If you look at FIFA and the other international federations, they're not the best run organizations generally.
I have a feeling that the IIHF is maybe a little better than the FIFA and all these others. Like, I have this feeling.
Yeah,
is it true? I don't know, but less
power,
corruption.
So they don't really. I think who knows.
It's a non-profit organization. Well, they all are. Doesn't matter. They all are a non-profit organization.
Except for their own pockets.
Except for us.
But I don't know.
Their own salaries.
I don't know.
And their friends' salaries, their family, and Illuminati of sports. Okay.
You got anything else on the World Cup?
No, so basically that's just sort of well, I guess my thing is with the World Cup is that I like it. I think it's really cool. I think it's like you said, it's an out of the box idea. Now, what is this going to do to the NHL taking a break from the Olympics? I think that it's somewhat clear that because I don't know, like, I mean, not clear. It's somewhat, it's pointing towards them not taking the 2 weeks off this year, you know, for giving up that revenue period and, you know, the stop and go of the season. And it just, I know that Russia is in this kind of same time zone or similar time zone, but yeah, I just don't see it market like this South Korea Olympics. I just don't see the marketing kind of big dollars there. So yeah, I think the NHL is kind of they've used the Olympics, they've gauged, they took the temperature, they're like, yeah, World Cup's going to work because
huge exposure as a result of the Olympics for the past 20 years.
So yeah, do I like it? I love that. I really like the Olympics. I really enjoyed that. It was really nice to see, you know, these top A-level guys playing. You know, so yeah. But I also remember Albertville and you know
we watched
the
these
amateurs,
games as well.
Yeah, the amateurs played. So that was pretty cool too.
Paul Kariya going up against Forsberg.
Yeah, Sean Burke and you know and Forsberg and what's his name from Czech Republic who defected, Bondra. No, jeez, way before Bondra. Okay, so anyways, he became a Canadian citizen and played for our team.
Nedved,
yeah, Peter Nedved, yeah.
Ah.
So, anyway, so yeah, those were memorable days too, right? So, that was just, yeah, what do you...
So our conclusion
what do you
is
think?
they all need better marketing?
No, I don't. No, I wasn't going with that. I was just kind of like bringing up that was happening, and I just foresee that the Olympics will lose out probably. And
the Olympics, yeah, I guess
do I
lose a
care?
little bit, but really, the real amateur athletes are going to gain. Right?
Yeah.
Canadians watch the Olympics to watch these professional players play hockey. And it's not only it brings attention to it, and we watch other things, but I mean, there's just way too much attention on people who the country already pays so much attention to already. Let's let the Olympics be for the amateur athletes, like those old days.
I agree.
And,
Lindros.
Yeah, and at the same time, the old days of the Canada Cup. You know, and then the World Cup.
Yeah.
Those were great championships by themselves.
The World Cup, I didn't think it was very...
Why? Because the United States won and Canada lost.
No. I mean, it was a big draw. Like I remember getting together. It was first year university. We all kind of gathered and watched the game in the common room. But no, I don't know. It was like, I think all hockey...
That was the year with Fleury
I think people,
and... Gretzky was his last big international event, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. It was 96 or something like that. 96 or 97. Mm-hmm. So it was 96. Actually, it was 96. But like that tournament was for people who like hockey. Okay? The Olympics is for everybody. Everybody gets behind it. Like, I mean, geez, like they're showing it at work and TVs everywhere. And it's like, it's really a nationalistic thing. And I guess...
It'll be shown on the public broadcaster in countries that the World Cup is never going to be shown.
Yeah, so it just kills a little bit of that. But anyways, look,
that reflects the way the NHL is going with. They don't care about building the game; they care about capitalizing on the
branding
people who
the
watch
game.
The game.
It's not building the game; it's branding it.
Baby boomers with huge cable packages pay a ton of money for NHL.
It's crazy.
Young kids can't afford to watch the games, but the NHL doesn't care.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing. Well, the Olympics would create so much more exposure, but a World Cup would create so much more money.
Yeah, so for them.
For them.
They don't have to share.
And for
funny
the
how
owners
they have
And it's all has to do with the new collective bargaining agreement. I think.
And you know that the World Cup games are not going to be on public television. You have to get a cable package to even watch it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So business wise, I guess we see what's going on. So yeah, so that's it kind of sucks. I guess I'm going back to the suck side of things. Before I was like, well, but yeah, it was cool to see the Olympics and see them going, the big guys going because hockey's such a epic.
The guys and the girls. You're not mentioning the girls, but you should because it was these two events were the most watched.
Yeah,
events.
for sure. Yeah.
Well,
in the world,
the women's Olympic hockey, that's going to exist for a while. Oh, or is it?
Yeah. Well,
I think
they're going to have to change their format.
Softball and be removed from the Olympics.
Could. I think they're going to have to do something like North
so.
America versus the world. They might change some stuff. I don't know. But I think there are criticism about how it's always the United States or Canada who wins, and it's always the same winners, and they'd like to have more variety and blah blah blah. But these people seem to forget that in the 70s and 60s, when hockey was a new sport at the Winter Olympics, like men's hockey, it was the exact same thing. And then the Russians started their big red machine in late 70s, 80s, and then it was against Russia, and then there's other teams. It improves the hockey program of every country. So, I guess I'm just freaking tired of hearing people like it's always the same two teams. Well, you were too young to watch the exact same spectacle about 40 years ago. It's not my problem. Just give it some time. I'm done.
Yeah, you're referring to a couple of those great documentaries that have just come out about the way Russian hockey was built and existed, especially through the 80s.
Yeah.
But we're going to have to save that for another time,
I guess.
And wrap this up. I hope you had a fun time listening to this podcast. Thanks to whoever's out there who's actually listening to this.
Peace.
And we hope to be back for more sometime soon.